25%. So we were building the solution so that we can increase the productivity. We will continuously monitor the meeting rooms, and if there is a problem, then we will automate and try to fix it, so that whenever we have these kind of sessions, there will be no problem. So I will talk about around those all things. I'll take a very simple examples and we'll try to make this session simple. So the resiliency in the infrastructure. So we live in an imperfect world. That's what I feel. People may have a different opinion, and here the things will go wrong. Even you fix it, they will go wrong for any reason. And when things goes wrong, it can impact you. It can impact the company. It can impact your business, or it can impact your customers as well. So we will try to build up a resiliency so that whenever there is any kind of failure in the system, it will get fixed automatically. It's not about avoiding the failure. Yeah, we should avoid the failure, but if something goes wrong, then we should have capability to bring it back normal. For example, if some shopping site goes down for 10-15 minutes, it will bring a bad experience for the users, and user may say, oh, don't go to that site that goes down. So we will just try to avoid those all things. So the goal of our resiliency is to return the application to a fully functional state after a failure. So I will just relate it with the digital transformation. So whenever you talk to any leadership or you attend any sessions of the leadership people, they talk about digital transformation. Companies are heavily investing. Digital transformation will generate this much job, that much job, a lot of things. So what I feel digital transformation is all about bringing your infrastructure on the modern day solutions. Companies are investing heavily on it. And after that much of investment, if something goes wrong, then your digital transformation will go on a stack. People say, why did you even try that digital transformation? My system was stable with the previous thing. You have to make it efficient so that you can earn money out of it. At the end, the business matters, right? So in this session, I try to keep this session very simple. So what I'll do, I have one very business critical application. I named it as an Expert Live India. You can think, just imagine that this is the service which is hosting this entire event. And if this service goes down, the live telecast of this session will go down. Just imagine, it's not that, but just imagine like that. So I have that Expert Live India application running on one of my machine, and if their service stops, everything will stop. So what I will do is, at the start of the session, I will just stop the service, and at the end of the session, you will see it automatically get fixed. So I will quickly go back to my machine and I will explain these things later on how I did, but for now I will just stop that service. So this is service Expert Live India. This is in a running state, so I will just first let me show you. This is just a minute. So this is the Expert Live India application. So I will delete this one from this machine and I will break this service. So it is stopped now. So the main component of my solutions are the Azure Monitor, Azure Automation, and the Azure Hybrid Runbook Worker. So let's talk about the Azure Monitor. So when you are monitoring anything, you need a tool to monitor it. So here we are using the Azure Monitor for monitoring the system. It's a very simple tool. It's very easy to configure. When you compare it with the System Center Operations Manager, there you need someone to manage entire System Center Operations Manager. But here you don't need. Everything is on Azure. You just need a knowledge on the Azure Monitor. That's all. That's enough. So it provides a very easy mechanism of collecting the telemetry from the machines. Machines can be anywhere on the Azure, on premises, even on the third-party cloud as well. You can monitor the Amazon machines, Google machines, any Alibaba machine, any machine. And it can help you in doing advisories also. It can assess your system and can tell you there is a problem or you may hit a problem kind of thing. It's very flexible. You can integrate it with the DevOps, or you can interact with any other ITSM tool, SIEM tool, anything. And it can monitor the applications, network, Kubernetes, clusters, anything you can monitor it with the Azure Monitor. Another piece of my solution is the Azure Automation. So if you have worked on the System Center product, there is an orchestrator. So this is not an orchestrator, but it is very similar to orchestrator. So it's a automation tool which is sitting in the cloud, which can do the automation. You can run the automation from cloud into the cloud as well as outside the cloud as well. To run an automation, by default, if you are running any runbook in the Azure Automation, it runs in the Azure Sandbox. It will have only connectivity with the Azure environment. If you want to control your on-premises infrastructure, you need something called hybrid runbook worker. So when you run the runbook in the Azure, it will not have the connectivity with your infrastructure. But we want to control our on-premises infrastructure as well. So for that, we need hybrid runbook worker. This term appears as a very bulky. You need a big hybrid runbook worker. Yeah, you need a big machine, but it's very easy to set up. You follow 4-5 steps, and your runbook worker is ready. It's quite easy to set up. You can just follow the MSDN article, and your hybrid runbook worker will be there. And from that runbook worker will be a machine which is in your infrastructure. From there, you can control the any machines which is in your infrastructure or anything with which you have the connectivity. So why do we actually need the hybrid runbook worker? As I said, like when you run the Azure Automation based runbook, they run in the Azure, but we want to control on premises, so we will run it in our environment. And it can execute. So when you are running anything into the Azure Automation, there is a limit, because Microsoft want everything equal for each and every customer. So think about that one customer, he took the automation worker and he is indefinitely running his runbook. Then what about other customers? They will be in the pipeline and it will become like a IRCTC website. People are hitting and then getting the errors. So there is a limit. That limit we can tackle it with the hybrid runbook worker. You can run, it's your machine, you can run it for entire day, for entire week, entire month, whatever you want, you can run it. And you can install your own runtimes. So for executing a code, you need a runtime. If you have written a code in the Java, you may not find the Java runbook runtime into the Azure worker. But here you can install your Java, anything, Python, .NET, any version of .NET, 1, 4.7, anything. So how our system is going to work? So we are monitoring the resources with the Azure Monitor. If these machines will send out the telemetry to the Azure Monitor, you can project those telemetry on the dashboards. Your CIO can have the dashboard where they can see how my applications are behaving, how business critical applications are behaving. You can raise the tickets also with integrating it with ServiceNow, anything. You can export that data over the Power BI or other stuff.
Is it an agent-based application?
Yeah, it's an agent-based. So you have whatever you want to monitor, you have to deploy an agent there. So Azure Monitor, what it can do is whenever there is a problem, it can alert you. That alert could be the email-based notifications, or you can get a message over your mobile, or you can get some app pop-up like there is a problem. Nowadays we get a lot of pop-ups from Ola, Uber, Swiggy. The same way this can also do the thing. So if you are using the Azure Alert, you can use the automation. Automation can call out the runbooks. Runbooks will try to fix your system, and it will try to fix your system and it will bring back the things for you. So how we are going to do is, as I said, I am running one very business critical application. The name of that application is the Expert Live India. That has a critical Windows service, Expert Live India, and I am monitoring it with the Azure Monitor. So now my application gone down. It's messed up. So Azure Monitor will generate one alert. that alert will trigger the action group. Action group will make a call to the PowerShell based automation runbook. Runbook will execute the code over the hybrid runbook worker, and it will try to bring it back normal. So enough of theory, let me show you something in the demo in the real world. So you guys remember at the start of the session, we stopped the service. Okay, so this is my Azure Monitor workspace, which is collecting the telemetry data. In the logs, you can find out what all information got collected from the machines. Here you have, if you want to find out something, you have to run some queries. These queries are very much similar to the SQL query, but they are not the SQL query. These queries called KQL, Kusto query language. So I am just running search asterisk. It will show me the data which I collected in the last 24 hours. So this much of data I collected around last 24 hours. We have 10,000 records. We collected inside metrics. Let me show you from this view. We collected VM connections, event, heartbeat, lot of things. So let me just run this query, testing data. So this will show me about for the data type, how much data, for what all data type we collected the data. So we collected the data for the inside metrics, VM bound, heartbeat, operations, these all things, IIS log.
So is it basically a log application?
Sorry?
Basically a log application tool?
You can call it as a log tool, but it can collect lot of things. It has a very good options of collecting the log file, custom logs. It works like a charm for the custom logs, but you can do other things also. So if you know little bit of Azure, I mean, if you have access to the Azure portal, you just have to go to the home and here just say create a resource. And say log analytics and just click on create. Just fill up these details. This is the location where your Azure Monitor will sit. You can choose any of these locations. Set around 20-30 locations are there. And just okay. It's a very simple. You just have to fill up this form and things will be ready. So once you fill up the form, you will have the workspace like this one. This is the workspace. If you have any machine and you want to monitor, what you have to do is go to the advanced settings. And download this agent from here and initiate the installation. During the installation, it will ask for this workspace ID and the primary key. You pass this key and that agent will start sending out the data to the workspace. Same you can do it for the Linux servers, and you can integrate it with your SCOM, System Center Operations Manager as well. So here actually we are doing the monitoring of the critical services which are running on my machine related to the Expert Live India. So this is the query which I wrote it. So this is the configuration change data for the last hour. So you see here we have entry, Windows service got modified. Previous state was stopped, kind of thing. This is our, let me show you for the Expert Live India. There must be one entry for the Expert Live India. So let me just filter it with these services. So this is all kind of change tracking that we are doing it. just writing a query. If you have worked on SQL, then you will find it as a bit similar. Okay, so I've booted this machine in the morning, so a lot of services has gone into the start and the stop phase. So you will have entry like this one, and based on this query, you can set up the alerting. This is the alert section. If something goes wrong, you will have entry like this one. So right now I have around 5 alerts which are generated of the severity 1. So let me check what all those alerts are. So one alert is generated at around 10:34 and it's about the critical services impacted. So I will show you what is inside that alert rules. So I will go to the alert rule. I have this one which is responsible for monitoring the service. So this is the critical service is impacted. So here inside that you have to define a condition. Condition is like a search query which will be searching a problem. So what I have written it, search in the configuration change, search for the Windows service, service name is expert live, and if its state is stopped, then generate a notification. And this runs in every 5 minutes and checks for the data for the last 5 minutes. So this will help us in identifying the problem. And here is the action group, which is going to trigger the automation. So I will show you this one, what is inside this action group. And here are just basic details. You can change the severity or you can give the naming conventions kind of things. So here is the action group.
Can you explain those timings once again?
Oh, sure.
It runs for a period of 5 minutes, but what is the other 5 minutes?
So it will run in every 5 minutes and it will check for the data for the last 5 minutes. So if, what's the time now? So if something runs at around 10:40, it will check for the data from the 10:35 till 10:40. So if you have a very critical application which you want to monitor in every 5 minutes, right, then you can, like, you want to monitor it continuously, then you can set that timing at 5 minutes. If you have some okay kind of application, you can run it in every 1 hour, so it will check for the data for the last 1 hour. So mine, as I said, it's a critical application, so I'm just running it frequently so that if it goes wrong, I will have the notification immediately. Fine. So I was talking about the action groups. So I have an action group, Expert Live India start the service. It makes a call to the Azure automation based runbooks. This is the Expert Live India runbook, and I have scheduled it to run it over the hybrid runbook worker. Okay, so I will show you what is inside the automation which is going to fix the problem. So this is the automation account which will have all kind of runbooks. In the runbooks, you have to write a code, PowerShell based code. It's very easy. Even I don't know much of PowerShell. You Google it and you will find the code for each and everything. I mean, for now, for a basic thing, you are finding the code for stopping the VM. You will have 100 types of runbook. So it's very easy to write these all kind of configurations. So this is my Expert Live India runbook. Here you will have about information about the jobs. Let me show you the code. So this is the piece of the code which will help me in fixing the problem. So you see in the third line there is a $webhook data. So whenever any action group is making a call to the runbook, all the alert payload that will be in the JSON format, that will be passed to this runbook by the variable $webhook data, and then we are processing that webhook data. We are converting its body into the converting it from the JSON. We are fetching the alert rule name and the machine where the thing got impacted. So that is in the array. So we are just pulling out the data from the array, and then we are writing the kind of output that can help me in troubleshooting. If something goes wrong in the automation, then it can help me in doing the troubleshooting. And then we are starting that service, start service name, and $impacted service is the name of the service, which we fetched up in the line number 11 from the JSON body, which alert has sent it to us. Let me show you. I have that JSON and that how that JSON looked like. So that alert payload will be in this format. Whenever there is an alert, if you send it to any webhook, you can send out that JSON definition. So it has this is the alert rule name, this is the query, and that the name of the information, name of the impacted things are in this array. The service, this is the system. Expert Live India is the name of the VM where that service is impacted. The expert live entered the stopped state is the message. So this JSON we have to process it. I generally do it by saying it over the webhook, what all things are there, and we just play with PowerShell and extract those values. So these values will do the things for us. So let's go back to that virtual machine and we'll see what is the state of that service. So hopefully it should come up into the running. So I stopped that service at the start of the session and it is back to the running. And if you remember, I deleted that shortcut also. So I will just try to fix it by running the automation from here. So I wrote another runbook which do the repair of my application. If my application is completely damaged, then I will try to reinstall it from here. So here I will just start it and I will ask it to run it over the hybrid runbook worker, and I will click on OK. So this will just submit the job over the hybrid runbook worker, and it will just try to fix the problem for me. So while it is running, I will show you how those jobs look like. So whenever you are executing, it will have any kind, it will have entry here. These all are the jobs. If you are doing any kind of troubleshooting, then you can have that all information. If there is any errors, then you can see it, errors or warnings or all kind of things. So the important runbook was this one, Expert Live India. Let's see their jobs. So this is the job, and output I wrote it to service Expert Live India status. Grammar mistake, it should be was stopped on machine Expert Live India VM. No errors, no warning, nothing in the all. This is in the all logs, and I did not see any exceptions also. And what was the input? So input was this webhook data. That input has been sent by the alert. Let me just call this. This was in bit messed up format, but once you process it, it will be easy to read. So here you can have the jobs, and in this there is an important thing called change tracking in the automation, which do the things for us. Which with the help of change tracking, we are monitoring the status of the services. So in the change tracking, you can monitor is you can monitor the registry. If you have a critical registry in the system, you can set up a condition here. You can monitor the Windows files. I set up like just keep an eye on this folder. If something gets deleted from this folder, then alert me. Linux file you can monitor. You can monitor the Windows service and how frequently you want that data available. So we executed one runbook. Let's see what's the status of that job. We want to see if it has repaired our application or not. So, okay, this was executed at around 10:47. Let's see. There was no warning. Let's go back. Hopefully, yeah, you have this back. I deleted it and I tried to repair it with the Azure automation. So I can write out a logic which will continuously monitor my application existence of the files, and if any of those files got deleted from that folder, then I will trigger this repair process from the automation. So I can set up the entire automation for this as well. It's just that we have to find out the appropriate condition when we want to trigger this, and we can do it with the Azure automation.
I have a question. After the run book, when it is run, like when the alert is generated
Yes.
to run this run book, suppose due to some situations like heavy intensive servers who might not able to start the service,
Okay.
then how do you get, when you don't have the option to start the service, from there how do you get the notification?
So actually, whenever you are doing these all automation, so right now I'm just doing a demo. So I have written a very simple code. So when you are deploying this into the production environment, there you have to write up logic for each or if else condition. If service is not stopped, then what to do? Then to notify someone. If service is not getting started at all, then you have to notify someone. So you can put a logic inside it, just send out an email to that person. Or you can write any intensive code for doing the things. So, I mean, you have to write a code. So I'll explain in the next sessions what are the best practices when you have to do these all things. So, in the session, I took a very simple example of stopping the service. In a real world scenario, people take a complex scenario. Starting the stopping service generally happens very rarely. So, I mean, we can set up the notification for these all things also. These are just some few examples. I mean, if there is a problem with the disk space, then try to create some disk space into the system. It's just that you have to write a query for it. So the system query for finding out the disk space, the query will be like this one: check in the run the query for the performance, purchase the data type for the performance, check for the data percentage free space, summarize that data, take an average for the last 15 minutes, and if the average counter value is less than 10, then generate a notification. So let me run this query. And let me show you the results there. When you make a copy from the PPT, just insert some special characters. So let me run this query. I will not see any results because the threshold value is around 10%. So all the systems are very good. So I will just change this to a 90%. So if I have anything less than 90%, then I'll make out the list here. So these are the machines which have disk space less than 90%. So this is the machine where the C drive is around 78% free, around 78% free, underscore total is the 80%. So I'm just pulling up the result for the 24 hours. That's why I have so many entries. You can set up a time range here like just checking it for the last 15 minutes. So I will say that time generated equal to now minus 15 minutes. No result. So in the same way, we have the query for the checking the megabytes, available megabytes in the system. If there is any problem with these all performance issues, we can run some kind of automation which can create more available memory or the processor time or the paging thing. Here we have plenty of data. Inside this one we have plenty of data. It's just that we have to write a appropriate query to find out the problem.
What is the search tool used here, like Elasticsearch or something?
So actually this is not a separate tool, it's inside the Azure Monitor. It is known as KQL, Kusto Query Language.
Okay. But at the
KQL.
backend it uses.
Yeah, in backend it make use of those all things. It's a there are a lot of developments going on in the KQL. If you just do a KQL search, you will find out a lot of things. So this query runs into the background and pull out the data, all the telemetry data which we have it in the workspace, and then you can process this data and generate any kind of report you want. You can generate the report also. You can generate the graphs also. There are some inbuilt graph. Let me try to do something for the graphing. Let's see if it generates or not. So this is a single pie chart, but if you write a more query, you can have it lot of things inside it. Or now this one. So for the all of these are for the expert like VM, and most of them are the system only kind of. These kind of things you can do it. So whenever you are planning automation, there are certain kind of best practices which I feel should take care. So we have to make sure, because everything we are going to run on the hybrid runbook worker, right? So make sure that it has sufficient hardware. Like if you are running some intensive, you promised your organization that I built a resiliency and you have not given a proper server, and if you are running some code, then that code may fail. So make sure that it has a proper hardware. It should be able to communicate with the other resources properly. Otherwise, there will be a communication issues, and then again the same problem. And make sure all the modules which you need for executions of the code and the runbook should present on the server. So, and whenever you are thinking of these kind of solution, first study your infrastructure and just find out the top 10 issues which you can automate. You cannot automate each and everything, right? You can first make out a list of the top 20 common occurring issues and just find out how many we can automate, and just started building the solution for 5 and then 10 and then test how efficiently it is working. Because these when you are planning these solutions, these need some amount of efforts. Because like when we sell these kind of solutions, we are promising, our sales team will promise a lot of things, and if these things will not happen, it will just bring a bad name. So you have to do a proper intensive research, and you have to test it very carefully, because at the end the business, we have to make all application up and running. So yeah, one thing I said about we can have lot of things over the hybrid runbook worker. So this is the hybrid runbook worker, and here I actually downloaded even the Google module, the module for the Google Cloud. Just as an example, let me show if something comes up. So this GCD is the Google Cloud module. So on the hybrid runbook worker, though these all things are sitting in the Azure, you can control anything. Your own on-premises machines, or the machines inside the Azure, as well as the machine inside the other third-party cloud. You can control VMwares or the Amazon machines, anything. So why I find these all things very useful, because these are like controlling the windows, and these are enhancement to the system center. So most of the people in IT doing the infrastructure management knows about the system center. So these Azure automation and the log analytics, they are not the replacement for the system center. That's what I feel. There are a lot of arguments going around it, but then they can similar to it. If you know about the system center tool, then you can easily relate the things here. So yeah, that's all about my session. Hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something new.
By using runbooks.
Yeah.
So can we launch a new resource when the server receives the
Yeah.
heavy traffic?
Yeah.
Based on the load balancer.
Yeah, you can do it. Just you have to write down the PowerShell code. whatever you want to add something new, you want to add a new disk, just write a code that whenever my disk is free, just attach one more disk. Will be heavy intensive code, but you can do it. We have with the Azure automation, we have done automation where what people do is they so in the Azure, if you are running a virtual machine, right, you have to pay for it, correct? So like when your office is over, then there is no need of that machine. And every day you cannot turn off that machine, right? Like you cannot ask somebody, okay, when you are going home, just turn off that machine. So what we have done is we have written a code which turns off the machine every day at around 6 p.m. and it will just bring back on the next day at around 9 a.m. in the morning. So this was a very common scenario, but somebody have written a complex scenario. So they were managing some kind of disks. So over the weekend, you don't need much of those disks. So they were just decreasing the type of the disk.
Conditional basically.
Yes, yes. They're just decreasing those disks so that their money will be under control. And then they, on the weekdays, they are just bringing back things to the normal.
You can make a runbook through this within the runbook.
Yeah, and runbook can be of anything. PowerShell is the one that I found that I can do with the PowerShell, but you can, if you are good in the Python code, you can do it with the Python code also. And there is one more new thing is there. I mean, that's called Azure Function. It can also do lot of things, and you can integrate it with this one also. So we were trying to raise some incident into the service now with the Azure Functions. We were just pulling up that data from the alert payload, extracting that values out of it, then we are sending that values to the service now to raise a incident.
So at the same time, you can able to export those metrics also.
Yeah, that is the prime benefit. If my session was around Azure, only about Azure Monitor, I would have talked about the metrics. So you can do the metrics also. Any other question?
So basically, you have to have the integration across Azure Monitor, automation, and
Yeah. And-
runbook.
Yeah.
So Runbook Worker is kind of a node or just the service that you use?
Actually, just a service. Actually, I simply pulled up one Azure VM and I installed a component and it started acting as a hybrid runbook worker. So there is a one service inside it, Microsoft Monitoring Agent, which interact with the Azure Monitor and the Azure Automation.
Okay.
And you can do the load balancing also. If you have multiple runbook worker, so these runbook workers, whatever the machine, they are part of the runbook worker group. So from there you can do, if you are writing some intensive code, then you can do that load balancing also.